This one is Angelic Paige. This is actually from from Urza's saga, and this sort of basically sets the tone for the work that she has done. Um, a lot of like high fantasy art look again, um, and a lot of angels and such, a lot of flowing hair and very not pastel-y, but very what's the word I'm looking for here? It just evokes a sense that of movement on pretty much. Um, that between like something like that, and we even got aura fracture. That I haven't played too much with these cards. I'm sure that I've played with them in Commander at some point or another in my life. But there's a few that I know. Let me actually fix this here. This is kind of bugging me. There's a few that I know have been pretty popular, even in a constructed competitive environment. And that actually is one of the first one. That one is the Avon Mind Sensor. I've seen that playing in some situations. The I had this played against me a lot when you're playing a lot of fetch lands, because it's a flash creature, and what you do is when they do crack their fetch land, they pay their life, they pay their one life, and they go looking for a basic or land like that, or their shocks even, and then you quick pop this guy in there, and they can only search the top 3 cards, or 4 cards, I'm sorry, my bad, 4 cards of their library. So if they don't find a land in the top 4 that fits their condition, then they've pretty much just blown it out of the water. Another one that folks definitely will know if you've played any kind of modern is the Bitter Blossom. Let me fix the framework on this one again, because this one's all wanked up. And yeah, so Bitter Blossom is a thing, especially when it comes to fairies. It seemed like Rebecca pretty much got the fairy stuff down on lockdown, because that's it definitely feels fantastical in that nature. And if you haven't been on the business end of a Bitter Blossom, I would consider yourself blessed in that nature, because that definitely hurts. Another one is Boomerang, actually, and it's not really a fairy based spell, but it has fairies in the artwork. I'm trying to find, she did the 7th edition artwork for this, and of course my border's all goofed up again because they changed all the shapes of the borders, and I'm trying to get it lined up right. But yeah, there's some more fairies. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Definitely feel bad for that little tree guy getting bounced back to his hand. I don't believe that she did the first few. She's also done the all right, starting with the From the Vault artwork from the Exiled set. She's done the work for Channel. If anybody is familiar with the Magic website, Channel Fireball, that actually was based off of an early Magic technique where you would basically pay this. So for double green, until the end of turn, anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. And if you do, add a colorless to your mana pool. So it would play a few burn spells, maybe a lightning bolt or 2 here and there. Then you play this guy and a fireball, which is red and X, deal X damage to target player. And so you hit him for like a lightning bolt, you channel 17 life, you fireball for 17. You're still at 3, so you're still alive, but they're dead. So that is the beauty of how channel works, and that will definitely ruin your day. One of my favorites that she did one of the earlier artworks for, starting at Mercadian Masks, is Dark Ritual. And for a single black, it's an instant that gives you 3 black. So you would basically triple your spells. You'd play this, and then you play something huge, and you've now just done some pretty good damage for the cost of 1 extra black. When I started playing back around like 7th edition type kind of stuff, I played, and my buddy loved playing an Elvish Piper deck. She did her artwork really didn't come into use on that card until 9th edition, but it's a really cool card. For a green and tap, you can put any creature from your hand into play. Nice way of cheating stuff out there. This artwork, started getting rotation on the 9th edition stuff. It's been used all the way up to the 25th anniversary edition. Even though it's technically not a fairy, it's the same kind of peaceful and serene, almost watercolor kind of look to it. When I played Commander, and I'd always have my hug deck. Was always kind of fun. It was basically make everybody's deck go super crazy fast speed. I very rarely won with it. My commander was Feldegriff, but Fecundity was definitely a staple in that deck, because it's just a nice enchantment that helped everybody. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard, that creature's controller draws a card. So it would keep people off my back because they wouldn't want to lose that enchantment. But every time a creature died, they wouldn't feel too bad. They just get a spell back. I've never played with this one as far as in competitive play, but Gaia's Blessings. It's a sorcery. Target player shuffles up to 3 cards from their graveyard into their library, draw a card, and then if the blessing is put into a graveyard from your library, you shuffle it and put it back into your library. So if it got milled somehow, it goes right back in. But otherwise, you can sort of recover a couple of cards from your graveyard. More flowing hair. And we're starting to see a theme here. And it's really nice and really kind of peaceful. Let's see. Moving on to the next page. We'll definitely also have to look at some of the artwork that they've used for the basic lands in this event. Where's another good one that I remember? She's also done a promo artwork for Path to Exile. This is always a good modern staple. Exile target creature, its controller may search the library for a basic land, put it into play tapped. So if you need to get that creature out of your way and it can't be killed, Exile's the way to go. Unfortunately, that poor dude's getting exiled. I don't know if she's the one that cast it or she's being exiled from him. That's kind of tough to read on that one, but eventually we'll get I'll start understanding how some of this art works. So if you have any any comments to add, definitely let me know. See, she's also sticking with the green stuff. I have played this in a couple of elf decks. The Priest of Titania. You tap and you add a green for every elf in play. That's pretty good. So if you have a bunch of Llanowar elves, you put her down, tap, and she herself is an elf. So you'd get like 3, or say you got 2 Llanowars out, you got 3 mana, and then you can tap those elves themselves and gain more green. So you got 5 for the whole total there. And there's actually a bunch of green cards that cannot be cast from mana that actually came from land. You actually have to tap creatures for that. So this is definitely a good way. A lot of the elf based decks really would do stuff like that. Let's see. We got one that I've played. Oh, here's a fun one. A veritable staple in the Magic world is the Sarah Angel. It doesn't seem like a very strong card, but it was definitely the first, and I remembered amongst all as a good beater. 3 white for a 4/4 flying and vigilant. That's it. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was super hard to get rid of when she got down, stayed down. So that was something from the dawn of time on going here. We got some more angels. We got some nice flowing hair here. And then a bunch of other Sarah's base things, a Sarah's blessing and a Sarah's hymn. When I also played the elf stuff, one of my favorite things was this guy, the taunting elf. For a single green, you got a 0/1 guy. He couldn't even attack or kill anything. He could attack, but he couldn't kill anything. But he's like, whenever he attacks, all creatures able to block must do so. So he pretty much lived up to his name and would draw attention from the main battle over to the side when you can get other things through. Another cool one that I would always use once in a while in my commander decks is Wonder. Let's see if I can get a good artwork on this one. It's from the original run, I believe, was from the Judgment such, and a lot of it was creatures or incarnations that would have an ability or grant an ability if it was in the graveyard. This one in particular, if it was in the graveyard, we could have all of your creatures flying as long as you control an island. And that's really huge because flying sometimes can either make or break your game there. It's one of the few that didn't have any kind of human creature, definitely humanoid here, but a lot of her work looks very nature-based and human-based as far as that nature. But that is Rebecca Guay. Actually, let me go get all of her art from that set. I'll have to figure out what set they use that artwork from. Because I want... let's start with the old planes. Was that this one? They would... let me see here. Okay. Yeah, so they used the artwork from another set to give us that look. This one, was it from there? This one was originally from or at least recently from one of the commander decks. And this is for the planes. They don't really put too many people in basic lands, but that's the only planes that she's ever done. They must have commissioned a whole whole cycle of the basic lands for these commander things. Here's her island, and definitely a nice one there. The mountain. What else we got? A couple more. Actually, I think I skipped the swamp. Here's the look at the swamp there. Kind of a nice, ominous full moon. Kind of gives you that creepy dread feeling in the swamp. And then back to her wheelhouse, the greens and forests. So that is